We are back for another episode. I'm joined by Andrew Huddo Hudson. Andrew, how are you?
Oh, well, thanks, Nathan. How are yourself?
Good, mate, good. How's your Easter long weekend been?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been pretty quiet around the house. So I did a ride yesterday for tour the Zwift, and but nothing today. And then race tomorrow with you, I think, in about 7 o'clock my time.
No, I haven't done any riding for the last 3 days, but that's okay. So in this episode, where are we? In this episode, we're going to talk about Pack Dynamics that rolled out this week. And Huddo, you had a bit of a experience with that. You've done a couple of races with that. We're going to have a chat about the Chasing Tour 2023. Talk a little bit of race prep, new indoor trainers, Rob's roast. We've got a special guest and a few other things. So join us for the big ring. All right, so yes, it has been a busy week. There's lots of things been going on, and one of them is the Pack Dynamics 4 that rolled out this week.
It's making for some interesting riding, I think.
Yeah. And so you had a bit of a ride with this, Andrew. What do you think?
Yeah, I've only done the one race since that sort of came out. Well, not race, but that was the tour ride of Watopia with the group. For me, I think I noticed more it just seemed to be less draft. So as you were trying to catch people, it seemed to take longer for that draft effect to be noticeable before you got to them. But yeah, it's I didn't notice a lot of difference for me personally, but then maybe because I'm not tending to do too many breakaways and things like that.
Okay, because they're saying that it reduces the pack speed, or for large groups anyway. Makes it less punishing if you get dropped, but easier to get back on. Makes the breakaways have a slightly better chance of sticking. And I think we saw that in one of Zwifty's videos where he went long, and one of his longest sprints I think ever, and made it work. And it reduces the number of bunch sprint finishes in a race, and the churn in the rider movement. So I guess for people who probably don't race that much, it might not be something they will recognise instantly. But certainly, I think from what we're seeing, that it's been interesting.
Yeah, it's. I still personally think that there's a glitch with the steering. If you're a steering rider, so if you've got steering enabled on your trainer, I still think that there's a thing there where that's pushing you to the edges of the pack quite consistently and holding you there.
Yep.
And in order to come back into the centre of the pack, you have to basically drop right to the rear and then work your way back up through the centre of that way. There's not that. So if in the pack dynamics, if they're saying there's less churn in there and less movement within that pack, potentially if you're a rider that has steering enabled, and not all races have that, but if you did have, there's a potential for you to be pushed to the outside extremes on the left and the right, not being able to get back in there as such.
Okay.
So that's just a feeling of mine. I'd have to do a little bit more research into that to see whether that's an actual thing or whether that's just my perception of it. But yeah.
Well, it's more than I've done anyway. And but I am interested to see how tomorrow goes with the Chasing Tour. We've got Chasing Tour Liège? Stage Liège tomorrow?
Liège, yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that Pack Dynamics plays a part in that, because certainly one of the big things has been the mass starts where people are all leaving at the same time. And so what we've been doing, some of the strongest C's in my division, my group, have been able to hang on with the B's and A's and kind of, separate from the rest of the group. So I kind of wonder how PD4 is going to maybe play into that.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's race, and I just had a quick look while we were chatting then, is the Roubaix.
Roubaix.
Tomorrow. Yeah. But yes, it'd be very interesting to see how that works now in terms of the ABs, the BCs, and how those pack dynamics change throughout the course of that race. I think it's going to potentially shake things up quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. Well, and one of the things that they mentioned was that the differences are more subtle now in terms of the racing and the changes than they were in the Pack Dynamic 3 that was rolled out, was it sort of halfway through last year, two-thirds of the way through last year? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, so the chasing tour. I've got a bit of a bone to pick with these guys.
Yeah,
so
I've been thinking about what you've been talking about there, and initially I didn't think much of that, but the more I sort of think about that, and you can explain the issue in a second, and then we can discuss that. But I'm tending to be on board with you about this as well.
So we've got, the moment we've done 12, 13 races. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what the Chasing Tour 2023 series is, it's a significant set of races. There's about 90 races, different series that have a number of races in the series that then contribute to an overall tour. Now, it's 90 races. They aren't easy, and there's a lot of effort and commitment that people are going to race these. And some of these series are back to back, like every day. Now, up until, was it the end of last week, the start of this week, the only way to enter the races was to go through the website. Now, it wasn't restricted. Anyone could do it, but you would click on the link, and you can see on the screen there where we've got the different time zones. So there's 4 different time zones for each of the different races. And as Andrew said, we're up to Chasing Roubaix, which would be tomorrow for us in Australia. So you would click on the different time zone that's applicable for the time you want to race. It takes you across to Zwift.com, and then you can choose the category that you want to jump into. Now, this week what they did was they opened that up to everyone so that you can see all these races in the companion app. Now, the problem with that is that you've got a whole bunch of different people coming into us, and you only have to race one race to be categorized into the category that you're most appropriate for. So there's silver, so bronze. So bronze would be your D grade. Your silver is the C grades. Gold is like B, and then you've got platinum, which is sort of like your A, high end B, A, and then is it platinum the top one?
Yeah, platinum's the top
yeah,
level.
and AA plus.
Yep.
Okay, so what we found though was, especially in the last race I did, which was the 2015 UCI Worlds course, we had a couple of riders join in our race that had only raced. One of them had only raced one race before, like Chasing Saxo, and the other one hadn't raced anything. Now, these are both solid B grade riders, but because we're now using the Zwift, what is it now? For categorization, the Zwift racing app.
Yeah.
It does a bit differently. So it doesn't do on the 20-minute power that Zwift Power does. It does it on how your ability to win races. So more so your 1 minute and your 5 minute. And so in my race, we had 2 guys, both first and second, had barely raced one race. They've come in, they've basically sniped the 500 points and the 475 points that were on offer and may not race another race. So for those of us that are sort of have got a campaign going and trying to, you know, do the best we can in the races, strategize depending on the different races we're doing, and getting the points that we need to try and stay, you know, in the top 10 of the chasing series, and the fact that they've done this and there's no category enforcement kind of sucks a bit. Yeah, if I'm honest. And it was one of the things that's been noted in the Discord channels. They've been talking about it. There's been some discussion about sandbagging and how people think it's not a real issue. But I don't know. For those of us that have done the 13% of the rides so far, like, you know, 12 rides, and persisted with it, it's a little bit shit, if I'm honest.
I'd have to fully agree with that. So you'd only have to look at the standings that are in there. And I've started to think a little bit more deeply about this myself. So I'm currently sitting in the overall mix, I think 60 on GC. But if I have people that come in, exactly what you say, and snipe points out of that, all of a sudden it really pushes me back within that GC. And if I'm not one of those top tier riders to be able to get those 500 points or 300 points consistently, then I've lost out big time to try and make up that deficit. And you only need a few races for people to score 300 points, 500 points, etc. And if you're on the fringe of that and you're only getting to 75, you are getting pushed back on that leaderboard very quickly. And there's no recourse on that. So I guess I agree with you. When we first signed up, I thought, okay, that's it. Whoever signed up, this is what you're going to be out of. And if you don't participate, well, that's your choice. But it's out of that group that signed up to that competition, and you know, you had to be in it to win it, type of thing.
That's would make sense, wouldn't it? You know, yeah. And then all of a sudden you've got these guys that you maybe haven't done all the chasing races, or they're looking for something a little bit different. It's now a public race. They think, oh, we'll check it out, and then they do one or two races, and then they sort of float off, and you don't see them again. And in that meantime, yeah, as you say, they've sniped a whole bunch of points. They're not really going to go anywhere. And those of us that are sort of persisting with it are kind of left scratching.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they could have still let them race, so, you know, but then say, okay, well, if you haven't registered, the points don't count for you. You can race, you can place, whatever, but you won't be eligible for the points. Points only then go to anybody that's registered. Yeah,
or you've got to be able to complete so many races in order for them to count. So if you're only doing one, all right, they don't count. But you got to do 5, and then after that, they start counting.
Yeah, agree. Or something like that. But yeah, as it is, where they're just jumping in and out at the moment. Yeah, I think that's a little bit. I agree with you. I think that's a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
And if you were a person who had done, 70 out of these 90 races or something like that, and suddenly you're losing out on those end points right towards the end after you've done months worth of work, you'd be pretty disappointed about that, I think.
Oh, you'd be spewing. Absolutely spewing. But, well, what can you do? We can bitch about it here. That's what we can do.
Well, we can have a whinge here. I mean, the other thing that's now for me is with the new classification, I'm now back in C grade.
Yep.
So I had been in B, happy with that. I've been racing in the B grade within these chasing series. And, I guess I always try to do my best, get there and have a fair crack at that. So now I'm competing against people that are dropping into that, but I'm also, if I'm, according to the Zwift classifications, shouldn't be in that grade anyway. I should be in the grade below. So it's a double-edged sword for me at the moment. So I'm a little bit like, what's the point for me really to continue on with this in a way?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, because people are going to start abandoning it and, not really worry about it. And it only takes people to miss 1 or 2 or 3 races to go, well, I'm not going to catch up. There's no real point to doing it. I'll treat it like a group ride. It won't be a race. And I think people will lose interest. So, but yeah, the one another thing is that in my case with these 2 races, their initial race they were categorized as C, so just under 1,200 points, but then quickly went up to 1,400 after that. Now, because it's only one race that you get based on, they're now locked into C for the rest of the series. So the other 70 races that are going to come, they're stuck in C, whether they like it or not, and they could progressively get, up to A standard perhaps, but still race in C and take those points. So for those of us that are sort of don't have much of a choice about being in C, it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And so it'll be interesting. For me personally, I've missed 1 race already with this the classics one that we're doing at the moment. And hopefully, obviously, I'll make up the rest of the series there. But even missing that 1 race, I now miss out on the bonus points, I think, from not having a complete series there, which, I'm already down from there. And then you're going to go from that into, I think it's Chasing Pink is the next one.
Yes.
Which is, 15 days, 18 days or something like that, pretty much back to back.
With only 18 races with maybe a couple of days break in between.
Yeah, and I just don't know whether I've got the mental
well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Competitiveness to want to do that now.
I wonder how much I'm going to persist with this as well. Huddo, here's a question. What do you do to prep for the races?
Not a real lot. No, my preparation would be to try and get on the trainer about 20 minutes out from the start line. And I had normally just warmed up with Coco as a pace partner or somebody like that. And had that pace partner probably a little bit under the power of what I'd try to put out in the race. So if I'm wanting to put out 3 watts a kilo or 2.8 watts a kilo, I'd pick a pace partner that maybe is holding around 1.8 or 2 watts per kilo. Yep. So you're warming up, but you're not exerting yourself too much.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What about food?
I just eat anything and everything, so I haven't worried too much about that sort of stuff. My biggest thing is making sure that I'm hydrated, given that you sweat profusely indoors, or I do. It seems to be hot as. I think fluids are probably more of a thing to make sure that you've got those in abundance and around you and as much cooling as you can, rather than probably the food side, because you're only really doing that hour and a bit of energy, which is probably going to deplete your stores in you, but not push you past that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, it's certainly about what I do. I don't do a hell of a lot of warm up, only because usually I'm streaming, so I'm busily trying to cobble that together. But we do take some sort of pre-workout supplements, and if it's a longer race, I'll try and eat food about an hour beforehand, maybe 45 minutes. But that's about it. I don't do too much other than that.
Yeah, I'll take a few electrolytes or something like that after I finish, just to try and put something back in again. If it's been a longer race, I'll try and do something there. Like a recovery shake or something like that have those sort of proteins and things like that in it. I'll do more of a recovery, I guess, rather than the build-up for me.
Hey, I forgot our top 10. I've got some because it's Easter and we've got the long weekend and the Easter bunny is coming to everyone. I thought we might do a top 10 of the hidden Easter eggs in Zwift. So let me bring that up. right, so let's check this out. Okay, so number 10, we've got Scotty the Squirrel. I think everyone's seen Scotty around. He's in all the worlds, and you can spot him usually in flags on the side of the road, and also on some of those pillars and whatnot around the place.
Yeah, there's a big blow-up version of him in where is that, Yorkshire or somewhere too, I think.
Oh yeah, that's it. Number 9, we've got the Sloth. So I always try and give him a bit of a high five as I'm going past in the jungle route. Number 8, we've got the Yeti on the Up the Zwift. So you can spot him just in the top right-hand corner there. Interestingly, he also appears in Crit City as graffiti on one of the walls as you go past too.
I'll have to have a look at that. I've never done the Crit City course.
Really?
No.
Oh man, Crit City, Downtown Dolphin, awesome. Not as hard as the Glasgow Crit, I would suggest. Number 7, we've got the Swarovski. How do you pronounce that? Swarovski. Crystal Velton in the Achterbahn in Innsbruck. I think I've only seen that once.
Yeah, I've seen that one a couple of times.
Number 6, we've got, is that pronounced Ibex?
Ibex, yep.
Yeah, the mountain goat, or the mountain goat statue, just on the top of the Ep1. Number 5, we've got the Zwift Arcade Simulator. Have you seen that one?
No.
Just on the right-hand side there. So it's in the start pens at Watopia on the boardwalk.
I must admit, I haven't taken much notice.
Number
I'm too
4,
busy looking at the start gate, I think.
we've got the dinosaurs in Titan's Grove. I think everyone's seen those.
Yes.
Getting around okay. Number 3, Jarvis, that silly bear. The one that's always falling out of the tree when you ride past in Titan's Grove.
He never lets old Jarvis.
Number 2, the Halloween party. So we would have seen this recently for April Fools, I think, where anyone who's riding in the Watopia stage races, you'll change to different costumes, whether they be dinosaurs or astronauts, that type of thing. Same with Halloween as well. And number 1 is the Paperboy bike. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen the Paperboy bike either.
No, I've never seen this. I didn't know it was an Easter egg at all.
No, it must be a... Yeah, no, I've never seen that. And I've never seen anybody use it. Must be just only for that specific time, is it?
Yeah, I wonder when they introduced it, because I thought I'd seen them, all those things, but not the Paperboy bike. I've not seen that whatsoever.
Looks like they built that in Minecraft and brought that across.
I was actually thinking the same thing. I wonder why they did it the digital like that. I guess it's pay homage to the older style video games.
It could have been in Swift version 1.0.
All right, so
Now, where was Nessie?
Say again.
Where was Loch Ness? Nessie.
I did remember that. I did see this. Now, if I'm honest, I did take this list from an older post that had been posted on one of the fan sites, maybe about a year ago. So I do recall that Nessie was an Easter egg, and if I had a bit more time, I would have thrown her in number 1, but I wasn't sure whether that's actually technically an Easter egg, because I've seen it every time I'm in Scotland.
Yeah, I must admit, the first couple of times I didn't notice it, and then people had said, "Oh yeah, mate, Nessie's in there," and I was just going, "Where? I've never seen it." And then, not long after I made that comment, I then saw Nessie everywhere I went.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's technically an Easter egg anymore, because it's not. It's pretty obvious. It's not that well hidden anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing we wanted to, I thought was pretty interesting. I saw scrolling through on the Zwift Insider's website was some new trainers. Have you seen these?
I have seen these. Now, I must admit, I looked at them, and whilst I really appreciate, design and form and function and stuff like that, being a tech studies teacher, the shape of this just doesn't do it for me. But happy for other people that design, if you love it, then by all means, look at it. It certainly, I guess, it provokes some more thought about what the smart bike or the smart trainer could look like in terms of what that is. And when you compare that to the ones from Neotax and the Swift bike, etc., they are sort of very similar, very much an exercise-looking bike. Whereas at least with this one, it has started to think, okay, well, it doesn't have to look like that. It could look something that is going to fit better within your decor, within your lounge room, if that's where you're swifting, etc. And it's more of a piece of art, I suppose, than it is just a piece of exercise equipment.
Yeah, well, I was really surprised when I saw the form there as well. Now, these are made out of, plywood, or they're going to be made out of plywood and oak, and finished with a professionally sprayed waterproof polymeric clear coat. But I'm wondering, someone maybe, our size, a bit bigger, when we've got a few big sprinters in our team, I wonder how they'd go going full tilt on one of these things.
Yeah, I mean, the handlebars, I know I'm a powerful sprinter by any means, but there's a lot of force that goes on a set of handlebars when you're doing that, and it doesn't really look to be much to hold that there, but I could be wrong. I did notice in the write-up there on the web page, though, they were looking for people to beta testers on this bike. And if only we knew somebody, Dathan, that lived in the UK that could possibly volunteer for this and put their hand up and test one.
Who do we know that could do that, do we think? And is pretty efficient when it comes to riding and knows his stuff.
Yeah, really knowledgeable about race, technique and stuff like that. Like, he'd be able to give very insightful feedback into this device. It'd be well worth. What's his name? It starts Zwifty something.
Boom. Yep. He'd give it a go.
I reckon Zwifty the Zwifter, I think he should contact this company and see whether he can get a beta version for a test run and give us some valuable feedback on what it's like.
We'll do a series on the show and he can take us through how good it is.
Well, I think that's a wonderful idea.
I like your thinking, mate. That's awesome. All right. So another thing that caught my eye this week was 3D printed models of Zwift routes. Check these out.
Yeah, they look pretty cool, don't they?
They look awesome. So apparently you can go to, where is it? www.printables.com, and you'll go through there, and someone's actually taken the trouble to model some of these routes. And you can download them and print them out.
You know what would be really cool? I've been looking at these, and we do have a few 3D printers at work and stuff like that. Would be really good, instead of just doing the one colour as what they've got there, is whether you could actually get the colours to blend in terms of the gradients on the actual line. Now that would be awesome.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So I wonder if that could be done. So as it goes steeper into the, like the 10% gradients or 13% gradients, it goes into a red coloured plastic.
Yes.
2s and 3s would be, whatever colour they are, green or something. But yeah.
Ooh, that's a great idea. Awesome. All right, so let's.
Certainly something for the pain cave, though, I think.
Sorry.
Certainly something to put on the mantelpiece in the pain cave.
Or the desk at work and show everyone what you do on the weekend.
For sure.
Now, speaking of Zwifty, he did get a lead pass this weekend, pre-recorded one of his Sunday roasts regarding the Paris Champs-Élysées. Here we go. Check out Rob's
To me,
roast.
Paris is the greatest place on earth. The birthplace of Mbappe, Kante, Monet, Manet, Hugo, Voltaire, and probably even Fred Astaire. Piaf, Gauguin, the Eiffel Tower, Lavoisier, the Curies, in the land of Champagne, liberty, equality, fraternity, and creme brulee. It is the very pinnacle of human civilization, and yet somehow Zwift have managed to for me. Put on my running shoes and I went for a run up the Champs-Elysees, round to the Jardin de Trocadero, back through the Jardin de Tuileries, and the entire time the shops were closed on this side of on both sides of the Champs-Elysees, as they always are in France on a Sunday. And as I got to about this point, as I was going up the Champs-Elysees, there was just me and a few American tourists wondering how respect for the Sabbath had somehow quashed capitalism. It started to snow, and I felt like I was in a film. It was the most magical moment I'd ever had. And somehow, just around here, Zwift have managed to Paris for me. And the reason is this little line. No, not that line there. Not the pedestrian crossing. This line here. Can't see it? That line there. That line represents the start of the Zwiftiest Sprint, which ends at the nicely demarcated green arch right up ahead. But the start to the sprint starts there. That is the start to the Zwiftiest Sprint. And if, as many race series do, you have a segment which begins there, because it's the final of the greatest bike race on earth, always ends here, the Tour de France. Many race series want to end their race series there. Why wouldn't you? It's iconic. Up to the L'Arc de Triomphe. It's the best place to end a race series. I agree. But it's all spoiled because of this bloody stupid lack of start of segment marker. And this is what it looks like during the race. I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't know where it starts because he's used his power up too early. But maybe it's here? Oh, no. Maybe it's here. This one. Nope. Maybe it's here. Still no. It's got to be the next one, does it? I think I mark it based on... No, it's still not this one. Or is it? Did I miss it? I think I missed it. Oh man. That's what it looks like during a race. I know Parisians are famously protective of having unsightly edifices erected in their city centre. But there's country lanes where I live which have better signage than that start line. There are light years of space between the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy, with barely any matter in between, which are better charted. The Higgs boson itself is easier to spot than that bloody line. Now all they need is something slightly higher than rider height. That's all you need. I mean, they could have a banner. Different coloured banner. Red, blue, green, whatever. To indicate the start of the segment. I mean, they could have a statue of Lord Horatio Nelson himself with a 40-foot phallus across the Champs-Elysees, and not even the staunchest of French bureaucrats could object. They could have God Almighty himself pointing down at the start of the segment with the voice of Brian Blessed declaring, "This is the start of the segment." And it would be no skin off their nose. Not even President Macron himself could issue a decree against it. But no, all we get is this stupid green line on the ground that you cannot see. That is my Sunday roast. Sort it out, Zwift.
So basically, he's just having a crack at where the start line for the sprint is on the Champs-Élysées race.
Very good.
He does like to roast the things that he thinks are pretty shit. I'm included. All right, so next we've got our special guest who has been waiting so patiently in the green room. I'd like to welcome Sharon. All right. Hey Sharon, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hang on, just throw that in. Can you hear Andrew okay?
How you going, Sharon?
Hi, I can hear you.
All right, so take that down a little bit. Okay, so Sharon has so graciously joined us and has been waiting so patiently there for us as well. So Sharon, when did you get into Zwifting?
At the start of COVID in 2020.
Yeah?
Yep.
And so hadn't done any racing or riding before that?
Nope.
No?
I think maybe a month out on the road.
Yeah? Didn't like that?
No, not really.
What was it you didn't like about riding out on the road?
Oh, look, it's a confidence thing, I think.
Yeah?
The clipping in and the clipping out.
Didn't have any of those?
But actually, no, I did. When I was riding on the road for the first time, I didn't have proper shoes with cleats.
Right.
I was just in trainers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And you had the little toe clips? Or was it just on straight pedals?
No, it's on the bike that I've got now, so just...
Straight pedals? Oh,
Yeah, but just not the proper big pedals,
Okay.
the little pedals for cleats.
So is Zwifting better, do you think?
Yes, I feel a lot safer. I'm not a huge fan of riding out on the road, to be honest.
Yeah, fair call.
You see less mammals out there as well.
What's that?
You see less mammals?
Correct,
Like-
yes.
That's right.
And cars.
You only have to see them on screen now, not in real life.
Exactly.
And then you have to ride behind them as well, so that's probably a good
Yes.
thing too.
So many benefits.
Hey, the Tron bike. How'd you go with getting that?
Well, I thought I'd select the right challenge when I first started that. I think I must have done about 2,500? No, 25,000 meters of climbing before I realized I was on the wrong challenge. So, thank you.
Well,
Sharon, as any consolation, I did exactly the same thing when I started Zwift as well. And started doing the mountain one. Didn't realise there was any Tron prize at the end of it. And changed the competition or the challenge. And I also did all the other one because I didn't really like climbing, so I thought I don't want to do that.
Well, I didn't even think you'd had to select a challenge. I just thought the minute you reached 50,000 meters of climbing, you got your Tron.
it would automatically just accumulate.
Correct.
And
Actually, no, I think I was closer to 30,000 actually. I think I was quite far in and I wasn't happy.
what a punch in the guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you weren't being happy when you discovered that you actually had to select the challenge.
Yeah, well, the person who was guiding me and coaching me failed to mention that.
I don't know who that was.
Anyway, I've got the Tron, so we're all good.
And but more importantly, what colour is it?
It varies.
It varies?
Yeah, it changes.
Oh, okay.
It suits it. I change it between orange and purple to match the my team outfit.
Right, okay.
And depending on if I change that, I like to be colour coordinated.
So it's not a racing strategy.
No.
Speaking of racing, you're a member of the AHDRL Comets,
Correct.
and you did your first ZRL series this year. Towards the
end of
this-
last year.
End of last year, start
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
How'd you find that?
Challenging, but I did enjoy it. I think probably was a lot fitter at the end of last year, and didn't race as much this year, although we did make it to the finals, which
Yes,
is
you
good.
did. Yeah.
And we came
Second. Yeah.
I missed quite a few of the rides at the start of the races at the start of the year, and my fitness has certainly dropped.
Because you haven't.
We were away for a while, so I just wasn't racing, and the motivation kind of slipped a little.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been, I must say, it's been quite hard to get back. Even now, I sort of struggle to get on my bike and push myself hard.
Yeah.
But we've got until September? When does the next season start?
I think that's right, isn't it,
I
Andrew?
think it's September.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, have you signed up for the dirt series in between that, Sharon?
No, only because we're getting married soon, and I have my sister coming from overseas, so one of us needs to be host. So, are you riding in it?
In the dirt series?
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of us is riding in it, the other one's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's a bit of the timing, unfortunately, is a little bit tricky in the next coming weeks.
Yeah. It will be busy.
We're quite busy. Yeah.
Fortunately enough, there is a break in the Chasing Tour series that accommodates our wedding and the
Oh, thank
and the
goodness
time.
for that.
So
Yes.
I'm pretty
'Cause
lucky
that could
there.
make or break it.
Otherwise, I was going to be in all sorts of trouble.
That's what you got to work around.
Sorry.
I said that's what you need to work around as a couple. You're going to have to work out your Swift life now.
Well, that's it.
Well, I might have to work it into the prenup. I don't know.
Into the vows.
Or possibly.
I've already written into my vows, so
Really? Have you even
Yes.
started those?
yes, I have.
Oh wow. Okay.
It says you will let me race.
No, look. I know. Tuesdays and Thursdays, no matter what, are riding nights.
Yep.
So I'm committed to that for you, obviously. So.
Not so much for you.
Oh, Tuesday nights,
Yeah.
racing nights. Although on Tuesday nights we also have the AHDR Ladies Ride, which I do love, and I do miss when we're racing. I do miss those rides.
Yeah,
So I do those when we're not racing.
Yep.
Thursday nights is a bit tricky. Kids.
Yep.
They've got to be fed.
Oh. How do you go with that, Andrew? 'Cause you've got a brood, haven't you?
I do. I've got 4 children here at home, so
Yep.
yeah, it's a bit of a balancing act between, I guess, my sports and my Zwifting life, and then their sports and their trainings and their school, and obviously then my wife's her needs as well, whatever they might be, whether that be going to the gym or various other bits and bobs. So yes, it's very much a balancing act. And sometimes that means that it's a Zwift session early in the morning, and you're trying to do that then before everybody gets out of bed so that you have less of that impact. Other times, yeah, it might be then trying to work that in around on what's on the weekends and stuff like that. But certainly, I know the challenge all too well of trying to balance that out.
You used to do a lot of morning rides.
Yes. I don't do very much anymore. It's harder. It's like everywhere we go around here, it's all just up and down.
No, but I mean, Zwift used to do some early morning.
Oh yeah.
I always get told that I'm loud in the mornings. Do you have that problem as well, Sharon?
That he's that you're loud.
Yeah.
No, you're okay.
Oh, you've come down and given me an absolute earful.
Only when you've been on YouTube.
Yeah.
Before you got onto doing your YouTube channel, and your morning rides are fine, but
Yeah.
you just seemed quite loud at 6 a.m. in the morning. And I'm not a morning person.
No.
I do like my sleep.
Yes, you do.
I need at least 8 or more hours of good sleep. Otherwise, I'm not a nice person.
Aren't we all?
Oh, I don't know. You survive on 4 or 5.
Yeah, I get by. But I've lost my head because of it. All right. So, hey, I've got a little bit of a quiz here between you and Andrew.
Okay.
You interested?
Sure. I got a challenge.
Yep. Andrew,
Sure.
you've not gone through and looked up these answers to these second sets of questions?
I have not, no.
Excellent.
Not up to my error of the first one.
Yeah. is the Zwiftiest Zwifter? You feeling the pressure?
Not yet.
No? All right. I've got 7 questions. Andrew, your buzzer is your name. Sharon, your buzzer is your name.
Okay.
Okay. First one to call it the name gets to answer it first. And the first one to 7 wins. Or the best out of 7 wins.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Sure.
All right. Okay, so first question. How many kilometers does a Zwifty user receive for free before they have to subscribe?
Sharon. 25?
25. Let's mark that question down there, Andrew.
Mate, I have no idea. It's been too long ago.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just forget about. All right, next question. So that's 1 to Sharon, 0 to Huddo. Okay, question number 2. How many power-ups are there?
Huddo.
Hang on, what was your buzzer?
Huddo.
Huddo?
I'm going with 7.
7. No. There's 9. Get an extra point if you can name them all.
Arrow, draft, feather. Oh, did you include the point ones too, do you?
There we go. Yep.
Ghost.
Oh, 3.
Burrito.
See, if you didn't include the plus ones, I would have been right.
Well, okay, well, technically, are they power-ups then?
What else? I mean, I'm not seeing those.
Because
Do they give you power?
Well, you don't get power, but you get extra. You get extra experience points.
Never seen it.
Ooh. Well, because you know when you go through a race and it flicks through and you get nothing, you get like extra XPs.
See.
Here's the thing: if anyone's watching, and let us know whether you think the red plus and the pink plus are power ups. All right, so I'll tell you what. I'll give you 1 each for that one.
Ugh.
Because I might have that. I might be incorrect with that one. All right. So, question number 3: how many achievement badges are there?
Are you including Huddo? Are you including routes?
What we are including is general, cycling, and extra credit. Sharon, throw us a number.
Over 35.
We'll go closest to the pin.
About 170, isn't it? If you're including all the routes and stuff.
Not route badges. These are achievement badges.
38.
Oh, 39. I'll give that one to Huddo. All right, we're 2-all. Oh, and by the way, does anyone know that the climb the Alp 25 times is an achievement badge? Have you guys
Yes.
done
No.
Climbing the what?
that? Climb the Alp 25 times.
Well, I won't be getting that badge.
Okay.
Not by choice anyway.
Question number 4. This is a multiple choice question, or multiple choice. Multiple choice, yeah. What's the total moving time in Zwift as of, I think, end of 2021 or start of 2022? The total moving time. Is it A, 181 million hours? B, 191 million hours? Or is it C, 201 million hours?
Sharon. I'll go in between 191.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. 191 million
Guess.
hours. That's
a lot of
enormous.
hours.
That's a lot of hours. All right, Huddo. Question 5. Which year did the Tour of France virtual first appear?
Sharon. That's when I started Zwifting. Was that year 2020?
Yes. Huddo, do you even Zwift?
I I just pretend, mate.
All right, question number 6. This is where it gets a bit harder. Huddo might come back here. The scores are 4 to Sharon, 2 to Andrew. Question number 6. Which men's team won the yellow jersey in that first Tour de France virtual?
I'm sure I watched that.
You did watch it. I made you watch it.
On Zwift, you mean, don't you?
Yep. In the
Hmm.
2020 virtual Tour de France.
There's no multiple choice.
No idea.
No idea.
Aero.
No, it was. NTT Pro Cycling Team.
Well, that was going to be my next guess.
Of course it was. All right. Last question. Now, Huddo, you can't win here, by the way, but your
not?
pride's still on the line because you got 4 points and he has 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay, last question. What cycling reward is unlocked on level 60?
Socks. No, sorry. Another pair of socks.
Another pair of
sorry.
socks.
I didn't say my
Gloves.
name first. Oopsie,
No.
sorry. Disqualified.
It's not the glasses, because I reckon they're at 50 something. You know, the rear view glasses. It's not the fire stocks.
I thought it only went up to level 50.
No, they released 10 new levels.
Oh.
Level 60 now.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm going to go with a kit.
It is kind of a kit. It's the level 60 jersey. Because nothing says exciting like a level 60 jersey.
Yeah.
Zwiftiest Zwifter.
Yes, you're the Zwiftiest
Do
Zwifter.
I get a prize?
Later on.
Yes, you do. Some Roses chocolates.
You've eaten them all.
Don't open them now.
Save those for later.
All right. Okay. So let's start wrapping this up. We have got some picks of the week. Gosh, you'd almost think I'd map this out. Okay, so picks of the week. There we go. I came across this on Reddit from Reddit user OK Cantaloupe, who did Out the Zwift on the hand cycle,
How does that work?
with great difficulty, I would expect.
No, but... So they're obviously on a normal bike.
Yeah.
Nice.
So do they have to pedal harder or
the-
something? Like, how does
The
how
Reddit
does
user
that
didn't
work?
say whether he was on a reticulated bike. He
Yeah, but
just-
there's the option to choose that in your garage.
Correct, yeah. And Huddo does it all the time with his downhills.
Only
Well, on
because
that,
Nathan
no,
talked me
he
into
doesn't.
it.
No, it's technically it's the most aero bike on Zwift because you're that low to the ground.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know about climbing on it though. So this guy did it in 168 minutes, which was around 2 hours and 48 minutes. That's incredible.
I'd imagine the ride, it would be harder to ride.
It's a much heavier bike, yeah.
A heavier bike, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I don't know whether he was actually on one of those, or whether he's just on a regular bike
how
but
would
did
they
it on that.
attach that to a trainer?
Good question.
'Cause there's
Has
two,
anyone done
there's
that?
2 back wheels.
Yes. Huddo, do you know?
What's that?
How would you attach a hand cycle to an indoor trainer?
Well, I don't think you would you?
If it was one of those wheel-on ones, you could have it on the front wheel, couldn't you?
I guess. Yeah.
So you sort of have it reversed around. The trainer will be sitting in front of you a bit rather than behind you.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
We might have to do a bit of research.
I will look that up. I'll come back to everyone. And
Next
let
week's
everyone-
answer.
Let everyone know. Exactly.
Yes, we'd like to know next
I thought
week.
you, Sharon, being the Zwiftiest Zwifter, would have known that.
We've got another pick from Reddit user XC News, who, after doing one of the stages of Watopia, finished the line at the top of the Ep1 and changed to the big wheel trike. And because he's got fire socks on and he was sprinting, so you can kind of just see in there.
So that's an actual bike on Zwift.
Yeah,
That looks like a tricycle.
it is.
A kid's tricycle.
Yes, it's the big wheel.
How do you get that?
You can't buy it.
You have to do a lot of climbing, more than the Tron to earn this.
Right.
Have you not selected challenge? But yeah, so he took that pick, got the fire socks there going on. He's out of the saddle in the sprint, and Huddo, our own AHDR Huddo, did the same thing. Unfortunately, though, I don't have the photo of it, but it looks very similar.
How do you get those socks? The fire socks.
Huddo,
Get to level 50.
Oh, okay.
what level are you?
Can't remember.
Probably
You don't know your own level.
level 40.
Is
I'm
that
at level
terrible?
40.
Yeah,
I've
tend
only
to
been
go
Zwifting for 3 years.
And you still haven't finished the game.
How long have you been Zwifting?
Longer than 3 years.
And what level are you at?
45. But I do know why
I
that is.
think I've done pretty well for the
I
amount of riding I've
I do
done.
know why that is the case though. Speaking of which,
you don't get out of bed early enough to get up and get the K's in.
but someone did go
You've
through.
gotten lazier.
Someone did go through, and they actually mapped the XP you need for each level.
How many do you have?
Well, I'm at level 40, but for every level, you can see the graph there. So to get to level 60, you need somewhere close to 80,000 XP. So from level 59 to level 60, that's how much you need.
Is that like the drop? No, it's not the drops.
No, that's not the drops.
Oh, I don't know how that works then.
Well, you know when you go through banners. Hello.
Yeah.
You go through banners. What else do you get?
You get it per kilometre. You get, 20 XP per kilometre, I think it is.
There we go. Yep.
Every kilometre
Oh,
you do.
okay. I see the
Yep.
XP. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And then if you do the tour of Zwift ones that are out at the moment, currently you'll get 40 XP for every kilometre you do.
So it's
So a
double.
lot of people do extra ones for that.
Yeah.
And then if you
Okay.
do
So that could be the
finish your
fast
route,
track to getting to level 45. Or 50 for the socks.
Well, I did catch you quite quickly when I first started Zwifting.
Well, and we can see exactly why.
I did become a little bit obsessed.
Yes, you did.
I became a little bit addicted, unfortunately. Well, not
I mean-
unfortunately. I was fortunate enough to not be working. I took a redundancy, unfortunately, during COVID, which was a bit of a saving grace in a few ways. I got to Zwift quite a lot, and I was Zwifting. I think I was doing 2 rides a day.
Sometimes 3 rides a day.
Yeah, it didn't become a problem. It became, I got a little bit obsessed, I think. Doing a mixture of workouts and rides. I wasn't racing, though. I only got into racing last year. Nathan did try and get me into racing before that, but
A little bit hesitant.
I was quite hesitant, and then got into racing and quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I got through my levels quite quickly, actually.
Yeah, well
I
done.
think you were a bit worried that I was going to catch it at one point.
Well, you did get very close, actually.
I did.
Yeah.
I did get close.
Closer than you are now. So,
Yes, it has dropped off a little.
yeah.
That's right. After the wedding, I will focus, or refocus, should I say, and get my training back on track.
you also get XP for finishing a route. So if there's any maps on the worlds that you haven't done yet, you'll get XP for those.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh.
Huh?
All the full PRL and
Yep.
the Mega Pretzel. There you go.
Yeah, you have to download the list of routes and then just tick them off.
Yep. Go through, get the XP,
Yep. Okay.
and then see if you can beat
I
me.
do love a challenge.
Yes,
So
you
just
do.
we'll just get through the next 3 weeks and then.
Yep.
Challenge on.
Good work.
First
All
one
right,
to 50.
guys. I think we've reached the end of this episode. I think this is better than our first one. I think it went a little bit more smoothly, more or less. Huddo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it ran very smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Even without Rob's presence. Okay, so next week, what do we have coming up next week? We've got cheating. There was a bit of an article about that. Someone who had been caught cheating on Zwift went across to another platform and got caught cheating over there for some actual significant prize money. So we talk about that. The new Dirt series. Is it the best racing series on at the moment? Is it better than ZRL? Also, Zwift Power categories replaced by the category enforcement system that Zwift are introducing. So we'll have a chat about that. We'll have a special guest. We'll have another Zwiftiest Zwifter quiz. Rob's Sunday roast. And a whole bunch more. All right, Andrew, we're going to wrap this up, mate. Have you got anything else you want to share with us?
No, only that I'm going to have to start hitting the books and doing a bit of research for this next Zwifty Zwifter competition, aren't I?
It's going to be hard to walk away from that one, I think. 4-2.
Oh, mate.
Well, Sharon's surrounded by people that talk about Zwift all the time on the channel and in the messenger.
All
So,
the time.
Yep.
She
I'm not
obviously
surprised.
paid
I
attention.
live and breathe Zwifting.
She could be
All
Billy.
right. Okay, well, we'll leave it there. Hey, if you liked what you're watching and you got some information out of it, hit the subscribe, hit the like button. If you've got a video that you want Rob to review and roast, send it to thebigringshow@gmail.com. If you've got some pics that you want us to show, bomb it through or leave a comment down below, and we'll try and get on the show for the next episode. All right, we'll leave you to it. Andrew, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your time.
Happy Easter.
You too.
Happy
Thanks,
Easter.
guys. Happy
Eat lots
Easter.
Thanks,
of
Sharon.
chocolate.
And keep it in the big ring.